WSOU 89.5 FM. I'm Valentino, and I'm here with Bert from Chunk No Captain Chunk. How you doing today, Bert?
I'm doing well. I keep myself being like very busy these days. There's like the release of the album, so obviously got a lot of press to do. But I also run a studio business, so I'm busy.
Yeah. So now I have to ask, obviously, we've had a crazy year. This has been a wild year. What have you been doing in this pandemic? What have you been doing now that things are starting to open up? Tell me about the past year you've had.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's been a rough year for everyone, I feel. The thing is, pretty much what happened last year was that, like I said, I'm running a studio business. And, like obviously because of COVID, well, like we saw all of our we lost all of our clients for the entire year. It's just like this, So, we felt like, I felt kind of not depressed. I'm not like that kind of person, but I felt really bad for a minute and kind of worried and stressed. So I think the best thing that happened last year was actually that project of making that new album, because I think the COVID kind of like triggered that whole thing. At first, we were supposed to write like just a few songs for a few festivals that have obviously been canceled. And the few songs turned into an EP, and an EP turned into an album in the end. So yeah, I think like I said, the highlight of 2020 was the writing of that new album.
Yeah, and now I have to ask, obviously the new record, Gone Are the Good Days, out July 30th, for anybody that wants to pick it up either on your store, on streaming services, on, iTunes or whatever. But I have to ask, this has been a long gap between records, longest you guys have ever taken. So a lot of fans have called this a hiatus of some kind. Would you consider this a hiatus, or would you just consider this just like a natural like break from the band for a second?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. And this is something that we should clear up, because we never announced any sort of break, actually, because that's not exactly what happened. What happened was that after 2016, we were doing like our third Warped Tour, and we were supposed to go back home and write that fourth album right after that. And so we sat down for a couple of months, actually, and we came up with some good ideas, some good starting points, but it was not good enough. In the end, we were like, okay, this is like, we had like very high expectations, and we were not quite there yet. And we tried like I said, I think we spent like at least 3 or 4 months, and we were like, okay, maybe the vibe was just not there, and we're like, okay, let's just sit back for a minute. Let's give it a little more time. Let's maybe go back to normal life, and let's see what happens, and we'll get back to it. And yeah, that's kind of like what happened. And actually, we've been kind of like like you said, not so active, but if you look at our socials, we actually did some shows. We played some shows in Japan. We did like a tour in Japan. We played Indonesia, that kind of stuff. So we never really stopped. It's just been a little slow, I would say, compared to what we were used to do.
And that makes perfect sense, because, you look at the band, and you guys are one of the few bands where you're not the kind of artist to just put out an album, tour, and then like go quiet for a bit. When you put out a record, you tour consistently for like 2 years. In the meantime, write, and then put out another record, then tour nonstop for another 2 years. So I think with the amount of busyness that you guys just had crammed into such a short amount of time, you needed that time to probably just like refresh song ideas or something.
Sure, like I don't know, but I guess in that scene, it's a common thing to actually be on that sort of role nonstop. Like tour studio. It's been great. It's been great for 7 years almost. But yeah, like you said, it was too much. Like it was exhausting. Honestly, yeah. One thing that people should really understand is that it's very exhausting. Like I remember we were like on this big tour that was like 3 months long, and before that in the United States, and before that we were playing Australia, Japan, and then after that we were doing Europe. So it was like, it's a lot of, it's awesome though, especially when you're young and motivated and all of that. But like I turned 30. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be celebrating my 33rd birthday, and I'm not old, but still you get a little exhausted by all of these things. But yeah, I think like you said, we needed that time off for sure.
And like as a fan, like Warped Tour, I was like, I grew up on that scene. That was like my bread and butter. And just going to like 2 days in a row of Warped Tour, you're like exhausted, you're hot, you're tired, you're just like, oh, I want to sleep for 9 days. As an artist, I can only imagine, because you guys have played multiple Warped Tours. You guys are like at this point a staple of that 2010s Warped Tour scene. I can only imagine doing a full tour and then just going on tour again right after it. Like that just sounds insane.
Actually, Warped Tour is one of the most exhausting experience you can have as a band, because that's pretty much at least at the very least it's like 50 shows maximum. There will be 60, and you're almost playing every day in every city, and there's like long drives, and I don't know, man. But in the when you go back home, you're like, what just happened? Like what just happened? It's so intense, but it's awesome at the same time. This is like the kind of like memories that just that you'll keep for the rest of your life. So, but yeah, we did it 3 times, and yeah, 3 times has been that has been the 3 best summers of our lives. For sure.
Yeah. And now I have to ask again, things are starting to open up. Once tours happen, how excited are you to finally like get back on the road again and, on a full tour, see fans' faces again?
Well, yeah, I'm so stoked. I just can't wait for us to get like another good offer. The thing is, like, it's weird, like, because of the pandemic, it sounds like unreal, just like being back on stage and having like in a very tiny room or not. But yeah, the thing that kind of sucks for us being from Europe is that Europe has been very slow with the vaccination, unfortunately. So we're catching up a little bit, but like I know that you guys in America are like way ahead of us for sure. So the thing that would suck, in a very hypothetical situation, that we would get offers and we would not be even able to travel because of how late we are with the vaccination. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to sound too pessimistic, but but anyways, I can't wait for us to be back on the road for sure.
Yeah. And now switching gears a bit back into this new record, Gone Are the Good Days. How are you feeling about this one? I know this is like, a really, really exciting record. I think it's number 4, if I'm correct. It's 4 albums deep into your career. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I think this one, and this will make a lot of sense with what we said earlier, is that's the very first record where we had some time. We had some more time to experiment, we were not working under pressure. There's a lot of pressure now that it's released because the expectations of the fans are like very high. But the thing is, I'm very proud of this record because, well, first we did it. It's all like self-produced. We did everything ourselves, which was an awesome experience. But also it allowed us to be more confident with where we wanted to go, what kind of sound we wanted to go with, and yeah, I'm very proud of this record, honestly. Like, it's very diverse, and I can't wait to show the world because I don't know, like, we just released 1 song and the feedback has been amazing so far. But this album is a complete, I don't know, it's a complete adventure, a complete experience for the listeners. So I just can't wait for this to be released and get more feedback. But yeah.
On the track that you just said, the 1 song that you guys released, we finally got to hear that Goonies like snippet in the beginning. And like instantly, as a fan of Chunk No Captain Chunk, when I heard that first 10 seconds, I was like, all right, I'm sold on this record. I'm already excited. Tell me a little bit about getting that finally in a song.
Oh, the funny thing is that that sample was actually in a very 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 old song that was not even released, but I think it was, you can find it like on the internet, on YouTube maybe. There's like, it was like a very crappy song. It was like almost like a grindcore sort of song. But yeah, it started with that sample. It was like, it's too good to to keep it for the old thing. Let's just like revive it a little bit and give it like a new life with that record. And especially with the opening, I think, I don't know, it felt right on that song. So yeah, so one thing, it's kind of like a technical thing, but this is something I should mention. One thing that's really cool nowadays, that we have the technology to actually separate the dialogue from like the music. And the problem we had with this sample is that the soundtrack, the music behind it was like so loud. But nowadays we're like able to actually separate the two, and yeah, it's only been possible because of technology, of like 2020 2021 technology, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing how far technology has just come to the point where you can separate that. And like, now that you've actually self-produced this record, you have more creative leeway to do stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. It's safe to say that on this record we experimented a lot with like, yeah, like all the technical part of our band, because we're still a technical band with like technical riffs and all of that. And since I've been into the music production for a while now, I've been able to actually make it my own, like make my own use of that technology into our sound, and make the best out of it. So yeah, that was a journey that was very interesting. And like, for those people who are interested in that kind of like music production kind of stuff, stay tuned, because we'll have some surprise and some stuff that can be interesting.
I love it when like artists do that, because it's like a peek behind the curtain. I mean, like, as a fan, we hear these masterpieces, but we don't see all the work that goes into writing these songs, producing these songs, recording these songs.
Yeah. It's the thing is, like, nowadays, like, all that technology, all those tools are available to pretty much everyone. So you just need, a little bit of, you need to, some time to actually dig into it and stay on top of like what's working, what's not. But I guess nowadays today all those information are available. I remember, because I produced as well, like the very first record, Something for Nothing, and it was almost like 15 years ago, and all those tools were not so, like, they were available. There was like a little bit of this, but it's not like nothing compared to what we have today. So
yeah, definitely. And speaking of Something for Nothing, this is just something that I noticed. So I've been following you guys since 2013 with like Part of My French. And then in preparation for this interview, I listened to all the records just back to back. And if we're just talking lyrically about this new record, I think lyrically this is either the most dark you guys have been, the most introspective you guys have been. Because you look at Something for Nothing, a cult classic, one of the most like easycore pop punk records people always gravitate as their favorite. You've got songs like Captain Blood, which is just like a pirate ship. I'm like, get off my pirate ship. And then you go to the new song Bitter. It's, I'm sad, and if I let this fester, I'm gonna end up like a bitter person, which is just like very, very, very different themes of lyrically speaking.
Sure. Like you said, I think our band, because you can see like the evolution of the band, like instrumentally, but like you said, lyrically, it's also been like a journey for us. The thing is, like, as a non native English speaking people, it's hard for us to come up with like great lyrics. So this is something we got with like experience, for sure. On this record, we got like a little bit of help from another guy that's been very important on that record, and he helped me coming up with those lyrics. And like you said, I think if there's like one theme for that record, is the pandemic. I mean, we're never explicitly talking about the pandemic, obviously, but like the song "Bitter," for example. Like it's pretty much uh, it makes sense. It's even more accurate right now because everybody with the pandemic like happened to be like locked at home, especially in Europe where we had like very strict lockdowns and feeling very frustrated, angry, and all of that, and just you know remembering those like good memories and those like good moments with friends, families, at shows, and all of that kind of like um, help feeling better and yeah, and I think if that record is called "Gone Are the Good Days," it's it's to get that kind of like nostalgia sort of mood, but like a positive one. Like, and a lot of people are thinking that, oh, "Gone Are the Good Days," it's kind of like a sad title, but it's actually, in my opinion, it's not. Like, it's more about remembering the good old days and putting a big smile on your face, just like remembering all of those things, but also it doesn't mean that the future is going to be like bad or dark or whatever. We'll just make the best of it for sure, but it's just you know like, yeah, having those like thoughts about the past, and being just happy of like what you lived, and yeah, all those good times.
Exactly. And I think that like just reflecting on that, you guys have had such an incredible career. You guys have toured with so many incredible musicians. You've headlined so many amazing shows that like getting back into like the full swing of like writing, touring nonstop is going to be, it's going to be nostalgic. You're going to have that sentimentality to it.
Yeah, it feels, honestly, it feels weird, but somehow it feels right. Yeah, because we were quiet for like 5 years, 5 or 6 years, and just getting back to it, and just looking at the first comments we had on Better. I don't know, it feels good. Like it felt like we yeah, people missed us somehow. I don't know if I don't want to sound though, but it's just seeing like the people's reaction on that first song. It's cool. It makes me want to yeah, get back on the road, like play shows, and yeah, just pretending that all of that COVID never happened for sure.
And again, like you mentioned that you guys never had like an official breakup announcement, hiatus, tweet, or whatever, anything like that. And so a lot of fans left wondering, okay, what's going on? What's happening? What's the status? I know me personally, I think I was in a class, and I got the notification. Like my friend texted me, he was like, "Hey, Chunk No Captain Chunk just dropped the album cover for their new record. I think you guys did that before the song Bitter." And just scrolling through the comments, everyone was hyped. They're excited. They missed you guys. And I know with a lot of bands, you get that like when they go away, they come back, but not nearly in like as full force as they went away. Whereas with Chunk No Captain Chunk, I feel like all the fans and more are just as excited for this new release.
Yeah, and that's insane. Also, I think there's an opportunity for us, as a because of the situation, because our music has always been like happy, if that makes sense. Like it's always we're always trying to communicate like positive stuff in our songs, and I feel like that's what people need right now, because that, like I said, that COVID, that year has been very rough for everyone, and yeah, I think the kind of music we're playing by its nature kind of like is what people need right now. It's like
Yeah.
angry and happy, if that makes sense.
No, you're so right. I think that at the beginning of the pandemic, like March to like I want to say June 2020, people wanted that like angry sound because they were mad at the world, they were upset. But then ever since then, people want happy tracks. They want to feel good again. It's been so long since we felt since we felt really, really enthusiastic about
Yeah.
something. So yeah.
And yeah, it's also one thing that I should mention is that this record, it will be released on July 30, which is kind of like right in the middle of the summer. And at first, when we got the dates, but like the whole schedule, I was like very skeptical about, because there's no band actually release an album in the middle of the summer, because all the bands want to release before the festival season, obviously. But since there's no festival this summer, at least I think the very first big festival will happen like at September or something like that in the US. But now thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? That's good having our album released like right in the middle of the summer, because people can actually, think of that this record, like think of this record like and put it in a perspective with the in a better perspective, like the sun, like hopefully COVID will be just something like a past memory. But yeah, I'm actually happy to have this album released in the summer. That's cool.
And now another thing that I wanted to kind of dive in with this record is this album cover is, I'm gonna say, unlike any album cover you guys have ever done before, where it's like you got the apartment wall and that like neon sign. It almost kind of strikes me as like an indie album cover, but it's just like so cool. Did you guys have that vision when you were writing these songs after the record was done? Did you like think of that? Or did like an outside artist come to you and pitch it and go, hey, and you go, that's perfect?
No, we had a couple of different options in mind. I think the most important thing for us in the end was to have something that makes sense with the title of the album. And the cool thing is that when you actually look and zoom on the artwork, there's like a lot of like different hints and a lot of different references to past stuff, like past music videos, past tours and stuff like that. And that's pretty much what this album is about, just like remembering the past and feeling good about it. So yeah, I really like the mood, like the colors and all of that for the artwork. I think the guy did a really good job. But yeah, I think to answer your question, the most important thing was to have something that makes sense with the Gone Are the Good Days title.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And on this record, I know "Blame It on the Song" is on the album. It was released as a single in 2016. What kind of went into that decision of putting this on the final record?
We all, everybody in the band like loved this song, and we kind of like released it like kind of like randomly. It was the end of summer 2016. It was the end of our third Warped Tour, and we always felt like because it was released like kind of like randomly, we felt like it didn't get like a proper exposure. So plus there was like minor tweaks we wanted to make, especially with the pronunciation and some stuff like that we wanted to fix. So also I think that song musically make a lot of sense with the rest of the album. It kind of like it fits perfectly in the track list. So yeah, that was a pretty obvious choice for us.
Awesome. And again, I know that like a lot of fans loved it when it came out. They love it now. It's a very like meta song in a way. It's very, very like breaking the fourth wall. It's really cool.
The thing about this song though, like we got a lot of comments saying, oh, because these guys are being so quiet, or maybe they're on a hiatus, that's because they released that song. They warned us somehow. But what the funny thing is that was not the plan at all. It was just like the topic of the song, but it was like there was no like thought behind it. So
that's so funny. The Chunk No Captain, Chunk No Break is we blame it on that song. We do. So now another question that I do want to ask you and kind of dive into, and this is so funny to me. You guys did that like 90s pop punk record, a punk goes pop, that kind of thing, and you covered All Star. And typically when a band does a cover, it'll be fine for like when it was released, and then within 3 months time it'll be kind of forgotten. That is still in your top 5 songs. I think it's number 3 right now on Spotify, and it right now has over 11 million streams. That's kind of crazy. From your perspective, taking that in, writing a cover, and then watching it just do it that astoundingly well, what's that perspective like?
Honestly, I'm just very surprised that song is still one of our most played song. Also, that's maybe because we played this one a lot on stage. And I think because this is one of our top songs on Spotify, this is something we'll keep playing just because it works. It works every time. But the truth is, you never know what song is gonna work and what song that is not gonna work. Obviously, when I think of like our very first like song we released, which was "In Friends We Trust," it was like 11 years ago. We wouldn't have never ever expected this one to blow up like crazy. So yeah, the truth is you never know. You never know. And sometimes you will have like, your least favorite song that will just like blow up by itself. And some of your most favorite and most like the one where you will put like all your hope, you'll say like, oh, that's the song, that's the banger of the album. Well, this one is not gonna get the right recognition. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't think there's a science behind like what's working, what's not. I don't know.
Yeah. I know that with some artists, I think this is like a quote from the Beatles or something where I think it was I forget who it was, but someone was talking about Hey Jude, and they were like, we don't think the song is going to do nearly as well as it did because it was just so simple to write. Like, like we have so many more complex songs we thought would just do way more, but it didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never know.
never know.
So now, again, Gone Are the Good Old Days coming out July 30th. What is one central theme, one central message, or one central just enjoyment you want these fans to take away from this record?
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, I think the title of the album kind of like speaks for itself. It's very much I don't know. It's a record that's very positive and that will make you feel better almost instantly. If you listen to the first three songs at least, you'll be like, oh yeah. So, and that's kind of, if that translates well on the listener, it means that our challenge has been completed. But yeah, I think also this record is one of the most diverse we've ever done. We like each song, every song on the record kind of like stand on its own, has its own like atmosphere, vibe. So like I said, I can't wait this album to be released because you need to experience the full album from like start to finish, and make your opinion on this. But honestly, I'm very 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 proud of this record. It all like makes sense. Like lyrically, this makes a lot of sense to all of us, and I really hope there will be like as many people as possible that can relate to every single topic that's on the record. And like I said, I think I honestly think, and I don't want this to sound like cocky or anything, but this is what people need right now.
No, I agree completely. I know that when the single I've heard so far, and just playing Blame It On My Song again, this is what I need the summer of 2021. This is the summer. 2021 is looking up finally.
Yeah.
Cool. So now my last question for you. First of all, before I get into this question, thank you so much for talking with me today. When this record comes out, we at WSOU 89.5 are very, very excited to be playing it, enjoying it. And I know there's a lot of fans out there that are just itching to get their hands on this. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. And now my very, very last question. It's probably too early to tell, but will there be another 6-year gap between the next Chunk No Captain Chunk record? Or is it, do we not know yet?
No. What's funny is that because like that first song got like so much hype, it was so encouraging. We felt like we never left really. So it felt, like I said, it felt right. It felt so good that we're already thinking as of right now, of like, writing new songs and having the 5th record like on the roll almost. So we'll see. I don't want to promise too much though, but we're thinking about it.
All right. That's so good to hear. Thank you so much again for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.